So we survived the night, got down to 36 last night, and I worked out some of my underquilt problems, and surprisingly I wasn't as cold as I thought I was going to be. No fence here. So we're headed down to the river. We're going to see if these other guys can get across and get a plan from there. So stick around, the adventure continues on day 2. Alright, so this is the paddock branch. It's just like a little creek. According to the Ozark Trail map, this will have water in it all the time, except in extreme droughts. So, you know, we kind of knew there was going to be a little bit of water here, but not this much. Now, the water level has receded about 2 to 3 feet over the night. So that's a good sign that when we get to the Walker branch, which is where we were planning on camping last night, that the Walker branch will be low, because according to the map, it says that it may or may not have water. So it's an intermittent branch, so we're hoping that there's not a whole lot of water in it. So I think we're going to attempt to make a water crossing today and get back up with the 2 other guys who are on the other side, and continue on towards Johnson Shutins and the adventures that we have going on. So I'll update as we go. Until then, we're having some iced coffee and kind of drying out. The sun is kind of poking through the clouds, so we're hoping for a little bit better day. So here we are at the creek, river, branch, whatever it's called. We're going to make our attempt. Everybody's taking their shoes and pants off. That's the power of convertible pants there, people. Yeah. That's a lot of peas. So there's the rest of my pack. We'll see how it goes. And this is an old house right next to the paddock branch. I think it's the paddock branch. I'll have to check the map. But there's a spring back here somewhere. It's listed on the map that it will have some water. So just one tore down building here, and then a small little shed over here. And I'm guessing based on this trail, over here, that this must be the spring back here. Yep, there it is. You can see the water coming out over there out of that rock. And then like right here, just bubbling up straight out of the ground. So, be some good clean water, and that's feeding over into the paddock branch as well. So, the hope is that we're going to make up some of the miles that we lost yesterday, because some of us did not cross the creek. It just did not seem safe. And safety is the game when you're out here, especially when you're married and have kids. So, but we were planning on doing an 11, 7, and a 12 as far as mileage days. So we did about 7 yesterday. So we can do 12 today. Should be no problem. So just off from the trail by the paddock branch is this little social campsite right here. That's where the other 2 guys hung. So it's a good spot to stop. Lots of trees, lots of water. There's water coming up out of the ground over there. Alright, we're going to hit the trail. This trail got flooded out last night. But the sun is out. We're hoping I can handle this creek crossing. So we're hoping that the sun comes out, dries things up a little bit. Alright, so here's a little update. We're on the trail. Disco booked on. He's like a marathon runner. He's way up the trail, but it is freaking snowing. It is May 4th, and it is snowing. What the heck? This is the weirdest, wildest trip I think I've ever been on. Ooh, look, there's a big mushroom. It's gonna be awesome. Yes.
The water off the mountain follows the path of least resistance, which is the trail. We'll move on here shortly.
This is the top side of these falls, and they come all the way down here, and then the falls you just saw, and they drop again. And the trail comes up along over this way. I can tell you this terrain is rough. When they say 1 to 2 miles per hour, they definitely mean it. And the weather, it's like cold snap came in, and it was snowing briefly with sleet. And now it's kind of just spitting rain, but it kind of sucks because you need your rain gear on so you don't get wet out, because it is cold. That's for sure. I don't know what temp is, but it's probably cold. But we're going to keep hiking. We've done about 3 miles, 2.5, 3 miles so far. And we're hoping it's a total of 12 or 13 to the scour. So that should be interesting to see. So we're going to get moving. So this is the overlooks that we're coming out here to see. And this particular overlook is right over here. That's Skygazer Mountain. This goes onto the Skygazer Mountain loop. And it's still spitting a little rain. I still have the dry ducks on. We'll see. Take them off here in a little bit. Gonna keep on the trail, heading down. And this is the terrain that we got going on, so I'm gonna put the camera away before I fall down and crack my crown.
That's got a good flavor. Oh, yeah.
Another vista on the back side of Skygazer Mountain. So we're heading down the trail. I'm in the back as usual. I'm slow. I blame my pack weighing more than everybody else's, but that ain't true. Although I'm being shown up by a 50-some-year-old man with a bad knee, so what's it say about me? I am out of shape. But things are going well. The sun is coming out. The rain has stopped for now, and we're just making our way down to Walker Branch for lunch. That was where we had planned to camp the first night. So we don't anticipate that Walker Branch is going to have any problems crossing. So from there, be about 5-6 miles to the scour, maybe 7. Because we may have to go around the Black River, which is probably going to be raging. So we'll see. Till then, we're just following the trail, which is pretty well marked, and in places where there are no marks on the trees, you have the cairns, whatever they're called, and they mark the trail. So for now, we walk. This little area. Another creek to cross. Some flowering dogwoods, I think. My stepmom really likes them, so there's a shot of them. There's quite a few out here, scattered throughout the forest. All right, hey guys. As you probably guessed, I'm still on the trail, and I'm trying to get to Walker Branch. I have concerns though that I overshot it, and we were supposed to stop for lunch there. I have concerns that I overshot it though. I mean, I don't want to lose them. I don't mind being behind them. I just don't want them to turn around and have to go back looking for me. So I'm just keep moving forward though. I gave my the sheet that I had of the map to one of the guys, and unfortunately I didn't mark Walker Branch on my GPS. So I'm looking at the GPS and I'm thinking, well, here's a creek. This might be it, but it's not. And they said that it was going to be sort of a shelf type rock. So I didn't think they were that far ahead of me. So we'll keep walking. I should have got one of their cell phone numbers. Things you think about after the fact. So we're gonna keep boogieing along and hopefully we'll find them. Looks like a fire or blowdown. So right over here is Highway N. And I don't remember a highway crossing. And then I saw a sign on the other side that I just came from, and it said 13 miles to Bell Mountain. And I was like, oh my goodness. So then I started looking on my GPS, and I clicked on one little creek, and it said Walker Branch. So I just don't think I'm there. I don't really remember it being this far, but that's why it's important to have maps. Keep going. I don't mind being behind them. I just don't want them coming to look for me. So, but I think that direction is where we're headed. Well, I'm pretty sure that I have overshot Walker's Branch. I am not sure how I would have missed it. I thought that it was, you know, they were stopping right there. Maybe they didn't wait for me and kept on cruising. So anyway, I mean, I'm still on the trail, Ozark Trail, and I'm moving towards Johnson Shutins. That's pretty. So I'm just trying to get in touch with them and let them know that I've crossed over the highway. I see some fresh tracks in the mud, so maybe they came through here. Maybe it was somebody else. But with it raining as hard as it was last night, you know, those tracks might belong to them. So just keep on walking. Luckily I have data connection, so see if I can't get in touch with them. So over here is the east fork of the Black River. Muddy. I'm running into people. Oh, see here I'm missing the trail. Let's take a look down here. I just ran into some people. They said that they saw 4 other people moving this direction. So I'm hoping that's my guys. But I know that we're not crossing the Black River. Not today. Yeah, so this is the Black River. The Ozark Trail goes down there. Friendly gent just told me you guys went this way. So let's go this way. So I'm on a Blue Blaze. I believe this is the Shut-In Trail. Some nice rocks over here on the side of the river. And the Shut-In Trail splits. And this is the river portion of the trail. And this is the trail that I think the guys took based on the tracks that I'm seeing in the little trek and pole marks in the ground. So I'm hoping that's them. And I'll either meet them up at Shut-In's Visitor Center or hop out on Highway N down to the Scour Trail and head around. That river is just going. I've never been here, but I hear in the summer it's pretty fun to come down and play in the water. Can't imagine you'd want to do that today though. It's pretty rough. So they got stairs and a boardwalk. Once you get off that trail, I'm hoping this leads to the visitor center. It's about 2:30. So hopefully in another couple hours, we'll see. Checking later. That's a rock. and lots of water. Yeah, that would probably be the best place to cross right there. You got a little bit of rapids right there, but it might be deep over on that side. I doubt you'd find a good spot to cross, though, honestly. Let's come down here and take a look at that. The Black River. Don't look like that right now. Alright, so this is the Shutins Visitor Center, and I ran into everybody. They were here having lunch. So we ate a little bit, and I spent $2 on a soda. And now we need to go to Highway N, walk 2 miles down Highway N to get to the Scour trailhead, and then it's going to be another mile into where we're going to crash. So we're hoping to find a ride from the guy in that truck right there down to the trailhead, and that would only give us a mile of walking and save us walking on the highway, which is dangerous. So, but it's getting cold. There's a cold breeze coming in, and the clouds are coming in, so a little nervous about that. So off in the distance, that is the start of the Scour, which is the Taum Sauk reservoir burst, and all the water came down into here and essentially dug out a path. And I don't think these boulders were put here by the Scour. I think this is intentional. It's this new visitor center for Johnson Shutins. But you can go on Wikipedia and look up the Taum Sauk reservoir. It was 2005, I think, December, and it only injured like 6 people, which was basically the superintendent of Taum Sauk State Park and Johnson Shutins, which is where we're at right now. Their house was taken out. It was early in the morning, and it was an error. They overfilled beyond capacity, and it broke. So you can read about it on Wikipedia. It's kind of an interesting read. So here we're coming up on Highway N. We got 2 miles down Highway N to the Scour trailhead, and we're hoping to beat out any sort of moisture that may come. It's a pretty cool field of boulders here at Johnson Shutins, and we're just moving on, feeling good, doing all right. So we're hoping to get to the camp. It's about 3:30 right now, so we got about 3 miles left, so maybe about an hour and a half. So this is the mighty Black River. We decided to go all the way around on the road because we were afraid to cross it. This is the entrance to the Scour Trail, which is going to meet back up with the OT. And I'm following the guys in green. I decided not to put my rain pants on because they ripped in the butt, and I'm concerned. So, don't want my butt showing. This is our map. We're here, and this is the path of the Scour all the way up to the reservoir. And there is the Scour. And the sun has come back out briefly, so we strip off the rain gear yet again and head up to the trail. Yeah, that's not comforting, is it? So here's the Scour down here, and as we move along the trail behind these trees, we catch the first glimpse of the Taum Sauk reservoir. There it is up the Scour. The breach was basically right at that corner, and 1 billion gallons of water just came down. Took out all the trees, went down through there, hit those rocks, came around that corner as I tilt the camera to show movement around the corner. And it took out a house. Luckily nobody was killed, but it's very interesting. We're gonna camp somewhere over here, and then in the morning we're gonna go back up here just a couple feet, and then we're gonna head up Prophet Mountain, which is a I think it's a 900-foot climb over the course of like 1.5 miles, 2 miles. It's gonna be a rough one, but fortunately we're not doing it today. And it is it's 4:20, so party on. Here's the setup for tonight. I'm gonna try to get everything all set up and dry out my quilt and stuff. We got a little breeze. There's the scour over there. There's a giant rock. I mean, you ain't gonna set up like that in a tent. Hammocks rule for the most part on this trip. And there's all the Hammock Forum guys down there. Let's see. Cuban, God Gear, Cuban. So there's Cuban fiber tarps are representing in his house. So we gotta get everything set up. A little breeze is coming in. Dark clouds are there, so I want to make sure I got my tarp staked out before it starts raining. So stick around. Since we got drenched yesterday, everything's still kind of wet, and it kind of went wet into the pack. So it's important you get a chance to dry things out. My tarp was wet. Luckily that was on the outside, but had a lot of condensation and things like that in this Insultech, which it kind of picks up. It's kind of a vapor barrier. They use it in houses, so any moisture that it gets inside of it, it's going to hang on to. So I got everything hanging out, and even the dry bag that was in my my pack, this is Z-Pack's Cuban fiber dry bag pack liner thing, was wet on the bottom because of my underquilt. So got to get everything all dried out. So I got my dry ducks drying out. The tarp was wet, but you know, it'll dry throughout the night. So here is the this is incidentally is the 20-degree Enlighten equipment quilt that I keep saying I'm going to do a video on, but it's pretty nice. It kept me very, very warm. I had an issue with my underquilt not really keeping me warm like it should, and I kind of solved that yesterday. And once this stuff dries out, I'll set it all up and I'll kind of show you. But I mean, even my cook kit, you know, it sounds funny, cook kit, but I mean, the bandana that was in my cook kit and the stuff sack, I mean, they're completely soaked. They were in the outside pocket. The only thing that is dry is my long johns and an extra pair of socks, which I will be sleeping in tonight. So, and my fleece is pretty dry, but other than that, you know, we're drying out. Things are getting better. I don't need my bug net again, which is kind of nice. And we're hopefully going to get a fire going, but there's definitely a chill in the air. So let's go take a look at some of the other hammocks. Alright, so this is Skygazer's setup. He is rocking the Cuban fiber, as usual. If you're going to be a real hammocker and go ultralight, you are going to have a Cuban fiber tarp. Just get over it and go buy it. He is going in semi-porch mode with a wonderful view of the industrial monstrosity of the Taum Sauk dam reservoir thing. But this is a bridge hammock. Ooh. So he's got hammock gear, underquilt with his Ridge runner hammock, and of course Dutch clip, all the finest hammock.
That's because I'm the demographic that buys this stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. But he, like everybody else, kind of underestimated the weather, and he has a 40-degree?
Yeah, 40-degree bottom quilt, 40-degree top quilt.
And luckily it's only supposed to be 41, so he should be all right. So, as you can see, the Cuban Fiber Factory has been working overdrive. Here's 2 more Cuban fiber hammocks, and they're a bit breezy over here. Back up on the ledge out of the destruction zone. You see this destruction zone? Where I'm at, destruction zone. If that bell sounds, it'll be interesting. And back here we have the guide gear tarp, which leaks, so watch out.
Leaks drastically along the seams still after 3 seals.
So
we have the pod here.
Space blanket spaceships and then the JCPenney jacket converted into a down underquilt. It doesn't probably have a rating, but it's probably barely warm enough.
I have the 1-inch sealed foam pad inside.
Oh,
Quarter inch.
There you go. When in doubt, use closed cell foam. There you go. Pot on the other side. This is the gold side. It's pretty awesome, actually. Hammock just kind of slides right up in there. I think there's a market for this. Now, had the Black River been crossable, the trail comes out over there into the scour and then comes down and crosses over here. You can see there's a couple little cairns here, and it takes you up back to that orange sign, and then, like, you know, just 10 feet that way is the trail that heads up towards Taum Sauk Mountain, which we'll be heading up tomorrow. So you can see that they're up on that ridge. It's pretty windy. I apologize if there's wind noise, but I came down to get some water, and figured I'd share that with you. It's pretty cold. We did about 14 miles today according to the GPS, so who knows how long it actually was. So it was a pretty rough day. So we're gonna try to get a fire possibly down here on one of these rocks, although it's pretty windy. And everybody's just trying to dry everything out while we have this wind and there's no rain. So that's kind of what you do. Well, everybody discusses hammock gear. I'm drying my feet off. They're nasty. But I'm drying them off because they've been wet for a couple days. Surprisingly, I haven't gotten any blisters. I'm using a set of Right sock. They're a Cool Mesh 2. They're like a dual layer sock. And so far I'm pretty impressed. They're not good though for keeping your feet really warm at night. So sleep socks would have been a better idea. But you know, they're working. So far the only blister is this one right here on my finger. I got this one when I burned my finger on my pot handle this morning for breakfast. That was fun with the trekking poles. But now it's time for Mountain House. We're doing beef stew, and we're going to use the Super Cat and see how that works. So, and that's the Coleman 400. Doing the 400 because I really don't need to cook too much. I'm not cooking in the pot. And I wanted to see how I could do with a pot that size, if it would meet my needs, and because I'm going to need to get a new pot at some point. So, but we're just, this is my view for dinner. I'm hoping I'll see some deer come out, you know, down into the scour to drink. I think that'd be pretty styling. So easy peasy, we're doing all right. All right, so let's talk about my underquilt problems. The problem is my underquilt was too far away from me, and I was going to the end there. I don't know if you can see it, but I have down by that bandana there's a little yellow prusik, and I would tie off my underquilt to that. And consequently, when I would come down here, this would be too baggy, and I would end up with essentially drafts. And it's kind of baggy now. I still got to work on it. But so by moving the connection of the underquilt up here onto the ridge line a little bit closer, it seems to be a little bit better. It was all right last night. I stuck my sit pad inside between the hammock and the underquilt, and that worked out okay. I ended up with a little condensation on my back, so I may not do that again tonight. But I also took my fleece that I have with me and basically kind of stuck that underneath my butt and back to try to eliminate any cold spots. It's going to be a little bit warmer tonight, and in fact I may put up my little bug net because I have seen a few mosquitoes around, and that should complicate things immensely. But the big down quilt here, which is all bunched up at the end right now, is fantastic. So it's the sun has come out, the clouds are starting to break, we're actually seeing some blue sky, so it's turning out to be a pretty decent night. So stick around. Another neat thing that I've done here is I've put up a secondary ridge line. This is just out of some cord. And I've got a little Prusa cup here that I attach to and tighten it up. And I use that sort of as a clothesline. It allows me to hang my pack inside underneath my tarp. And it's pretty easy, and it just packs up inside the snake skins. So it's a good way to get a little extra utility out of your ridgeline. So just make sure that you don't connect it to your ridgeline, you know, tie outs. Just kind of do it by itself, and that way it won't interfere with your actual tarp lay. Just another little trick that I've come up with to kind of make things a little bit easier for me.
One evening as the sun went down and the jungle fire was burning, down the track came a hobo hiking, and he said, "Boys, I'm not turning. I'm headed for a land that's far away beside the crystal fountains. So come with me, we'll go and see the big rock candy mountains.